ready for Monday Night Football. The Dallas Cowboys and Washington Redskins. They first played back in 1960, and it quickly became a rivalry that has inspired some of the greatest moments in Cowboys history.
Back in his own end zone. Throws ball way down to Bobby Hayes ahead of everyone, 95 yards.
Thanksgiving Day, 1974. George Allen was the Redskins coach, and Tom Landry was on the Dallas sideline. Roger Staubach had been knocked out of the game, and his backup had never played in the NFL.
Longley takes the snap, goes back to pass. Plenty of protection. He throws long, way downfield. Pearson underneath. He grabs it for a touchdown.
The Cowboys' quarterback for tonight is Troy Aikman.
Right now, it's two teams that are 3-2, coming off tough losses, doing everything they can to get back on track, win the division, and then get into the hunt for the Super Bowl in January. I think there's a lot riding on this game for this early in the season.
Troy Aikman leads the Cowboys into one of football's greatest rivalries, the Cowboys and Redskins, on ABC's Monday Night Football.
Monday Night Live.
It's going to be a game tonight.
That's what it's all about. We got the noise. Bring it. Bring on the game. Bring it.
Like a freight train moving at the speed of light.
Like a knockout punch
In a title fight, two rivals meet in a test of will. It's the boys and the skins from Capitol Hill. You better be ready. You better get right. They're gonna go hog wild in D.C. tonight.
Hit it. Oh,
Come on and hit it. Come on and get ready.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Are you ready for the football? A Monday night party. We got Hank and Al and Dan. We're gonna get it started. Prison men are all set. The crowd is psyched. All my rowdy friends are here on Monday night. Bring on the game.
Washington, D.C. on a beautiful October evening, a perfect night for football, and a few miles away, Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. A state-of-the-art stadium. It will be rocking tonight. 78,000 fans on hand for the Washington Redskins and the Dallas Cowboys. Hello again, everyone. Frank Gifford with Al Michaels and Dan Deerdorf. And what a beautiful setting for tonight's matchup of these two long-time rivals. And they have provided some great games over the years in the history of Monday Night Football. We could be in for another one tonight. They are both 3-2. The winner tonight will take sole possession of the lead of the NFC Eastern Division. But, Al, even though they will be playing for the head of the division, neither team is playing up to their own expectations. They're not happy.
The Cowboys very frustrated last week because penalties and turnovers, of course, Frank, did them in their loss to the Giants. One thing this team does lead the league in, though, is field goals. The flip side to that is they can't get the ball into the end zone. They have 18 field goals, only 8 offensive touchdowns, only 5 in the last 4 games, and a running game that's basically extinct. These are the Dallas Cowboys with maybe the best running game through the early part of the 90s, but this team has not scored a single rushing touchdown in 1997, and Emmitt Smith hasn't run the ball into the end zone since last Thanksgiving. They'll take a little of the pressure off him, use him a little less now, and in the future, as we'll see a lot more of Sherman Williams. The Cowboys trying desperately to figure out a way to get the ball into the end zone. A critical game. 3 of the next 4 counting tonight are on the road. A loss, 3rd place in the NFC East. A win, they're on top. And, of course, the same thing holds true for the Washington Redskins, Dan.
Dallas, Washington, first place at stake, Al. Doesn't really get a whole lot better this. The one thing the Redskins have going for them, though, unlike a lot of teams that play the Dallas Cowboys, is they have a great deal of confidence. This is a team that has beaten Dallas 3 out of the last 4 games. That means a lot. Now, on defense, the Redskins, well, they're kind of opposites. They're number 1 in the league against the pass. They're number 29 against the run. They give up almost 155 yards a game rushing. You know that Emmitt Smith is hoping to get well tonight against the Redskins defense. Conversely, though, it's exactly the opposite for the Redskins offense. You know, they're looking to pound Dallas up the middle. Look for Terry Allen, who had over 1,350 yards last year. He's going to try to have a big night for the Redskins offensively. Monday Night Football returns here to Raljohn, Maryland, as we christen Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. Stay with us, everybody.
Welcome to the sidelines of Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. I am Lynn Swan, and with me the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, Barry Switz. Now, Barry, everybody's talking about the running game. Is this the kind of ball game where you can force the running game into success?
We're going to try it, and we're going to alternate our tailbacks like we did last week. Our leading rusher's not playing tonight. Chad Henning's our defensive tackle. So we've got to have someone else step up and play for him tonight.
Coach, thank you very much. Good luck to you. Al?
Barry, as usual, providing a light moment before the game, showing very little, in fact, no anxiety, but he knows as well as anyone what an important game this is for the Cowboys, with Jacksonville, Philadelphia on the road and San Francisco on the road coming up in the next 3 weeks. Toby Goen, the rookie punter and kickoff man, will send it skyward. That's Brian Mitchell, one of the best in the league at running back kickoffs and punts. The versatile Mitchell to run it back. 80,000 looking on, and here we go from Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. At the 7-yard line, it's Brian Mitchell up past the 20 and ridden down at the 28-yard line. And from there will Washington begin its first drive. The tackle is made by Omar Stoutmeyer. Gus Frerotte, drafted in the 7th round out of Tulsa in 1994, won the job outright last year, and Frerotte now in his 4th season at the helm. Behind him, the tailback is Terry Allen. The fullback is Larry Bowie, who's a good receiver. Shepard and Westbrook are the wideouts, and Asher, the tight end, is their leading receiver. Up front for Danish, Patton, Ulanake, Johnson, and Ed Simmons. Simmons, one of the old Hogs, was a member of their Super Bowl teams in 87 and 91, and an injury as Wendell Davis, a backup cornerback and special teams performer for the Dallas Cowboys, is assisted to the sidelines. And Darren Woodson will be getting the start. There was some question about Woodson. There was some question, as you see him, number 28, the strong safety and a Pro Bowler, whether he would even be active tonight. But there he is in the starting lineup. A big boost for the Cowboys, who start 2 rookies defensively. First play from scrimmage is Terry Allen through the middle, and he picks up 3 out to the 31. Tony Tolbert makes the stop. Cowboys play a base 4-3. Chad Hennings is out, and Leon Lett still suspended, so Tolbert, Casillas, Anderson, a rookie, and Carver, they'll rotate up front a lot tonight. The linebackers for the Dallas Cowboys, Godfrey, Strickland, and Dexter Coakley, a pint-sized rookie on the outside. Smith and Sanders, the great corners. Marion and Woodson, the safeties. 2nd and 7 from the 31-yard line. Allen again. Big hole through the middle. And out to the 37-yard line is a little short of the first down. Fred Strickland makes the tackle.
One of the reasons that Dallas wanted Darren Woodson in there so desperately tonight is he is so tough against the run. With the 2 outstanding cornerbacks, Kevin Smith and Deion Sanders, they can play up tight, play man for man, and you can get Darren Woodson up there. Now, whether or not he's going to be healthy or not, he's got a knee brace on. He hyperextended his knee on Friday, was not expected to play, but he is a key element of the run defense for the Dallas Cowboys. They have 2 great cornerbacks, but Darren Woodson is a run stopper. He's like a linebacker at safety.
There is Chad Hennings, missing from the Dallas defensive line, and a timeout has to be taken by the Washington Redskins. So on 3rd down and inches, they're forced to burn a timeout, much to the frustration and chagrin of Coach Norv Turner. Timeout. Norv Turner, in his 4th season as the Redskins coach, as you can see, and we were away for almost 2 minutes, still very frustrated over the fact they had to burn a timeout.
And if you don't follow the Redskins, Norv Turner calls the plays from the sideline. They are communicated through the quarterback, and it did appear to both Dan and I that the play that they sent in did not fit the personnel they had in.
So 3rd and a short one, double tight end set, and they give it, or Frerotte keeps it himself and picks up the first down as he takes it to the 38-yard line. So a little sneak over right guard, and they'll move the chain.
Well, Frerotte packs the load. He's 6'3" and 240 pounds. Not a bad call. Well, you know that Washington is going to go between the offensive tackles as they hammer away at the middle of the Cowboy offensive line. Trey Johnson, Jeff Ulanake, Ed Simmons, the talented right tackle. That's an easy call, especially with a big guy like Farad at 240 pounds. We are going to see a lot of running tonight.
Little swing pass out in the flat to Terry Allen. He skirts down the sideline, finally tackled by Fred Strickland as he crosses the 50 and takes it to the Dallas 46.
Boy, and Allen was dragged down very awkwardly, and you can see him get up with a slight limp. He got his legs pinned underneath him a little bit, Frank, over on that far sideline.
Something is wrong with the defense when you get the middle linebacker, Fred Strickland, the slowest of the three linebackers, in a man-for-man situation with Terry Allen. He is a good receiver, takes the ball in the backfield on little curls, and he's a good runner, of course, after he gets it.
Well, they were playing run all the way. That's the only way you end up with that coverage.
That was a 15-yard gain on their first pass, back to the ground, and Allen is ridden down by the rookie Dexter Coakley. He's only 5'10", 215 pounds pint size for a linebacker, a rookie from Appalachian State.
Well, he might be pint size, Al, but he brings a couple gallons to the table and his athletic ability. And if you're going to get outside on the Cowboys, you have a much better chance of doing it to the Redskins' right towards Randall Godfrey. Dexter Coakley, one of the fastest linebackers in the league. It is tough to pin him inside and get outside.
2nd down and 9. It's the game's opening drive. Allen to the outside, and he's taken down by Randall Godfrey as he crosses the 45. It'll be 3rd down and 8 upcoming.
We may be in for a very fast football game tonight, in that you know the Dallas Cowboys would probably like to give it to Emmitt Smith 20 times tonight, and you know that Norv Turner would love to see Terry Allen get at least 25 carries.
Change in the offensive set for the Redskins. 3 wide receivers. Their key receiver, leading receivers, are tight end Jamie Asher, and they might want to test Darren Woodson to see if they'll lock up on the tight end with Asher. 4 receiver set. 3rd down and 8. Farad throws it out. A high pass, incomplete. Alvin Harper, the ex-Cowboy, with Kevin Smith, his one-time teammate, covering him on the play. 4th down. By design, Harper, a former high jumper, 7-foot high jumper, used to play for the Dallas Cowboys. Farad put it up there just a little bit too high. They knew Kevin Smith would be with him. Kevin Smith, he's like glue. He's like Velcro on receivers. That ball actually was thrown very well and should have been caught by Harper.
Whoa, Frank, that's a heck of a catch, don't you think?
Well, I think he would say that he should. Matt Turk. A wobbly kick that bounces at the 15 and then bounds sideways and is down at the 19-yard line. So Turk wanted to make sure he didn't kick it into the end zone. He didn't, but back it came to the 19. That's where Dallas has it for the first time when we come back. Back, beautiful autumn night in the nation's capital, just outside Washington, D.C. in the town of Raljon, Maryland, as Dallas takes it for the first time from their own 19-yard line. No score. 4 minutes and 10 seconds into the game, and Emmitt Smith's first carry of the night. He swings to the outside, and Emmitt Smith picks up about 17 before Stanley Richards makes the tackle up near the 35-yard line. Now, behind Aikman, you've got Smith with Moose Johnston, Anthony Miller, Michael Irvin outside, Eric Bjornsson, the tight end. The guys up front, the veteran 2A, the veteran Newton, the youngster Shiver, Larry Allen, one of the best, and Eric Williams, the right tackle, used to be one of the best, struggling of late. First down from the 35-yard line. That's David LaFleur in motion. Emmitt Smith for a gain of 12. Tackled by Stanley Richards. So running on empty, Emmitt has picked up 15 and 12 on the first 2 carries. Defensively, Duff, Mims, Boutte, and Rich Owens. A banged-up line. The linebackers, Ken Harvey, Marcus Patton has moved to the middle this year, and Derek Smith, the rookie from Arizona State. Great corners, Dishman and Green. Campbell and Richard are the safeties. First down from the 46. Back-to-back first downs from number 22. They fake it to Smith. Aikman buys time. Irvin makes the catch. Flag goes down. Chris Dishman had an arm on him. Michael was still able to move away from him, and 2 flags are now down.
Well, Michael was pushing off back upfield. I know one thing. Michael was using that left arm against Dishman.
They didn't throw the flag until late, though, Dan.
I agree. The flag didn't come till late, but Michael was definitely doing a little shoving as well.
Defensive pass interference. Yep. Number 26, penalty decline, first down.
And that was lost in all of that with the flags. A beautifully thrown ball by Aikman. There's the pushing there by Michael. And now here, watch this.
That's interference all the way.
Dishman pulling the arm down, but a beautifully thrown ball by Troy Aikman.
Michael Irvin, again, one of the best in trying to gain separation. Dishman actually held him twice.
3 plays, 3 first downs. That was a 42-yarder, and Emmitt Smith takes the ball inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. Boy, for Redskins fans, this is tough. There is Ernie Zampese, the offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, but let's take a look at it again and watch Dishman get the arm in there and pull Irvin's arm down, the left arm. And that's where the flag came. You could have thrown another one out a little earlier, but this is going to be going on all night long. Mike Nolan, the outstanding defensive coordinator for the Redskins, looking on at his team that gave up 200 yards on the ground to Philadelphia in their last game, is struggling tonight also. Second down and 6 on the 8-yard line. Emmitt Smith swings to the outside. Nothing doing this time. Ken Harvey is there to make the stop. Boy, we've already documented Dallas's problem inside the red zone. In the red zone, where they used to be so proficient in 94 second in the league, 95 third. Last year, problems. This year, only San Diego is worse in the red zone. In other words, getting inside the 20 and then scoring a touchdown. Dallas gets into the end zone only 27% of the time. 6 out of 22 trips. 4 wideouts here. 3rd and 8 from the 10. Dishman and Irvin locked up again. Aikman hangs in the pocket, throws. It's caught by Stepford Williams, and he's close to a first down at the 2-yard line. They were at the 10. It was 3rd down and 8. Stepford looking over toward the sticks, very close. Larry Nemmers is the referee, and he'll bring in the chain. Well, Stepford Williams is going to be open tonight. They're going to be double covering Anthony Miller and Michael Irvin, and they're trying to cover Stepford Williams underneath. That's only his 4th reception of the season, but he's very close to the first down. Some great battles going on out here tonight. Dishman against Irvin. They've scrimmaged a lot. Dishman with Houston before he came here this year, and the Cowboys and Houston used to scrimmage a lot, so they know each other really well. Just barely. 1st and goal. Well, the last time Emmitt Smith scored a rushing touchdown in a regular season game, Thanksgiving Day last year against Washington, and he scored 3 of them.
And if you're Ernie Zampese and Barry Switzer, you give it to Emmitt Smith here 4 consecutive times, if that's what it takes to get into the end zone. Get this thing over with. Get Emmitt into the end zone.
There's no question who's going to get it.
A false start.
Oh, wow.
False start. Offense, number 89, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
It's the rookie David LaFleur, their number 1 draft choice, the tight end from LSU.
And Switzer and the Cowboys have seen this before. Penalties in the end zone, and they have contributed to numbers like that, or a lack thereof, for Emmitt Smith.
You can see in years past, Emmitt, with frequency getting into the end zone. This year he's carried the ball 23 times inside the 20, hasn't penetrated. 1st and goal from the 7. Smith, spin to the 5. 2nd and goal. Patton and Derek Smith in on the tackle.
See, all of a sudden, without that penalty, if they run that same play from the 2-yard line where they were before, Emmitt Smith is in the end zone for a touchdown. But now the Cowboys still aren't in the end zone. They're still working at it. And people are pointing to Emmitt Smith and saying, Emmitt, you're just not the player you used to be. Go figure.
Emmitt, the sole back now in this set. On 2nd down, goal. LaFleur in motion. Aikman, a little fade, too deep. Intended for Anthony Miller. 3rd and goal upcoming. Boy, what a struggle it's been all year for Dallas. We talk about it, but it's been one of the things that's befuddled them, and Aikman really just threw that ball away. It was good coverage by the Skins. We talk about the really fine cornerbacks of the Cowboys, Kevin Smith and Deion Sanders. The Redskins with Dishman and Darrell Green, they can match them. These two are tenacious on the corners. Dishman's a real battler and a scrapper, and there's Darrell Green, one of the all-time greats in his 15th season, 37 years old, still the fastest man on the team.
Split backs, 3rd and goal, 6.5 left in the quarter. Aikman buying time. He'll pack it in and tries to dive into the end zone, but can only get to the 2. Harvey and Patton upend him there. So 4th down and goal at the 2, and they'll have to send in Richie Cunningham.
I'll tell you something. Does he care about this game or not? Number 8. He plays it with his heart. He was looking for the end zone all the way. He wasn't going to take this out of bounds. He was trying to get it into the end zone. He knows what that'll do for his football team. He dives for it, takes a hammering.
Well, certainly the strength of the Redskin defensive team is their secondary, and what a job they did. Aikman found absolutely nobody open.
19-yard field goal. And that's field goal number 19 for the first-year kicker, Richie Cunningham. But again, they can't penetrate and have to settle for 3. Aikman comes up short, but the Cowboys take the lead. Richie Cunningham with his 19th field goal of the season. Jan Stenerud had the NFL record, 18 field goals in the first 6 games of the 1968 season. But again, that's a two-sided coin. Great for Richie, not so great for the team. Dolan's kick, and Mitchell almost came out of the end zone, and then Bryan takes a knee. Washington will take it at the 20. And Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Saturn, a different kind of company, a different kind of car. Microsoft, where do you want to go today? Sprint TCS. Sprint Monday nights, they're free and clear. And Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light.
But we still have to go back to Cunningham's field goal and say it was brought about because of that penalty to LaFleur.
Look at that shot, the reflection of the Capitol.
For a minute, I thought I was upside down.
Well, I can think of a few lines, but we'll keep them at home. On 1st down, Farrat scrambles and gets taken down behind the line of scrimmage. He was chased initially by the rookie Antonio Anderson and then brought down by Anderson with Tony Tolbert coming in at the end. Antonio Anderson, a rookie 4th-round pick out of Syracuse, and he'll see a lot more playing time in the absence of Chad Hennings. Anderson, what a debut he made in the very first play in which he participated as a National Football League player. What did he do? He sacked Cordell Stewart on opening day.
He's huge, too, Al. 6'6", 312 pounds, and they expect a lot from him, and there is Chad. They don't expect him back for several weeks. Many weeks, probably about 8.
2nd down and 14, and this is Stephen Davis in the backfield, taking it to the 18. Davis is the backup running back to Terry Allen, who started the game. Allen's had a broken thumb. It hasn't inhibited him recently. And now Davis comes out, and Allen is on the bench. Next week, we go to Indianapolis. The Buffalo Bills with a record of 3-3. And the Colts, as always, led by John Unitas, Lenny Moore, Raymond Berry, and Gino Marchetti.
We wish.
I'm sorry, I've got the wrong card here. Bills and Colts next Monday night from Indianapolis.
You got my card.
That card's a little brown around the edges, isn't it?
3rd down and 12 as Farrat throws and somehow threads the needle to Michael Westbrook for a 1st down up at the 35-yard line.
And if there is a weakness against Deion Sanders, it's the deep drive to the inside. He likes to lay off the receiver, play the ball. You protect the passer. You can do that a lot against Deion. The problem, if you make a mistake, you might get 4 or 5 completions, and then he might run one back right down your throat. But you can beat him to the inside and deep.
You can beat him with size, Frank, but you can't beat him with speed. And that's where a huge guy like Westbrook, and this is a monstrous concern for the Redskins, the training staff of the Redskins looking at Terry Allen.
1st down and 10 from the 35-yard line. And Farrat just throws it away. The coverage was there. So they're checking on Allen. Remember, Allen had the broken thumb, missed some action early in the season. Actually broke the thumb on opening night against Carolina. They're looking at Terry. In the meantime, Stephen Davis is his backup. And Allen, as you can see, is a guy who has not only been durable, but has been a workhorse through the years. The NFL record 13 consecutive games with 20 more carries a couple of years ago.
Well, he owns the Redskins single-season record. He owns the Vikings single-season record. He's been good everywhere.
Second down and 10. And Farad throws, and that's caught at the 50-yard line. Michael Westbrook, their #1 draft choice in 1995. A guy who's been a disappointment basically until now because he's been hurt so much. But Norv Turner says this guy is about ready now to break out.
And strong arm by Farad. Again, it was a deep end to Westbrook, about 18 yards deep. Coverage this time provided by Kevin Smith. He is, like, again, I mentioned earlier, one of the great cover cornerbacks. Westbrook is a big man. You throw it at the numbers, and you cannot fight through him as a defensive back. He's 6'3" and about 220 pounds. That's a lot of receiver.
First and 10 from the 50-yard line. Farad stumbled, but hangs in. Great protection. Flings it deep downfield. Flag is thrown. Caught by Leslie Shepard. And he's down at the 2, but there's a flag back at the 35-yard line.
Boy, if this play stands, credit that offensive line for giving Farad time to look around. And Leslie Shepard keeping it alive, seeing Farad was in trouble, and then turning on the speed, and they synced out beautifully. Shepard not a key man in the pattern, but he stayed alive, and Farad saw him.
Holding against Dallas.
Holding. Defense, number 21. Penalty decline. First down.
First and goal, holding on Deion Sanders.
Well, you touched on it initially about the pass rush. Farad didn't even have to throw it when he threw it. He had more time. And just what a pinpoint throw on the part of Gus Farad. Shepard stays alive, and Gus delivers it right into the palms of his hand. Well, now we'll watch Washington in the red zone.
And you've got Stephen Davis as the tailback. They fake it to him and loft it into the end zone for Jamie Asher. Touchdown.
The leading receiver, and he was wide open.
Now, wait a second. One official is saying, no, the Skins are celebrating. One official was waving it off.
Oh, they're waving it off.
They're waving it off. One official started to tentatively signal touchdown. The Skins began to celebrate, and the head linesman came over and said no.
Incomplete rule, trapped in the end zone. Second down.
Well, it was a hands catch. The ball was thrown away from Asher. He had to go after it with his hands. Did he get it into his body before he hits the ground? Let's look closely. Well, it looks like he has the ball in his hands.
In the meantime, Stephen Davis makes it a moot point. Touchdown.
That he did.
Well, Davis played well against the Steelers early in the year when Allen was out with that injured thumb, a second-year man out of Auburn. Got some good size to him. They may need him tonight. Good drive here. Sees a little gap, lowers the shoulder, and gets the 6.
Got a nice block at the point of attack from Larry Bowie, his fullback. He pins Darryl Hardy back to the inside, and that's just all the more you need. All the difference in the world when you're starting from the 2 like the Redskins did instead of the 7 where the Cowboys were forced back to.
Scott Blanton boots it through, and so the Redskins march back after the Dallas field goal to take the lead. 2:12 left in the opening quarter. Washington 7, Dallas 3.
Back and look at the catch by Asher that was overruled by the officials. From this vantage point, it looks like he made a heck of a catch. He keeps his hand underneath the ball. From that angle, it looked like he caught it. One of the officials thought that he trapped it. It was overruled, ended up being negligible as the Redskins scored on the next play. But I'm sure Asher would have loved to have had the catch.
Scott Blanton's kick. This is Brock Marion from the 9. Hit and downed at the 23-yard line by Patrice Alexander. Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. They built this in 17.5 months. Opened last month. Game 3 tonight. 7-3 Washington. on ABC. Home Improvement starts it off. Soul Man, then another Home Improvement with Tim Allen, Hiller and Diller, and NYPD Blue. And then on Wednesday night, you've got Spin City, Dharma and Greg, the Drew Carey Show, Ellen, and Primetime Live, comprising the Primetime lineup right here on ABC. Terry Allen, bad news for the Skins. Sprained knee, done for the night.
And he's had 2 surgical knees, missed 2 complete seasons at Minnesota, so that might spell a major problem for Washington.
So Stephen Davis will be their feature back as Emmitt Smith from the 22-yard line puts his head down and picks up 4 out to the 26. And let's go back and take a look at that injury and how it was sustained on the first drive by Terry Allen right here.
Remember, he got to the outside. That's Fred Strickland, the middle linebacker, and he brought him down at that awkward angle, and he had his left leg caught back underneath him. And that is really a shame. Already out of bounds, and Terry Allen has enjoyed a great deal of success against the Cowboys over the years. This is a real test now for the Redskins to see if they can overcome the loss of Allen.
2nd and 5. It means we'll see Stephen Davis. They can also use Brian Mitchell in that role, the versatile one. From the 27-yard line, Aikman under pressure gets buried and sacked at the 19. Marcus Patton, who used to play on the outside, they moved him inside, and he gets credit for the sack.
And that's Aikman's 10th sack of the season, and this is a lot more than they've given up in the past. Last week against the Giants, he was sacked twice, hit 8 times. He has been taking such a pounding this year, and they talk about the offensive line not being able to run block. They're not protecting Aikman like they have in the past either. And of course, Aikman gets the criticism. You get Emmitt Smith getting the criticism for lack of a running game, but this offensive line is not what it used to be.
Patton's first sack of the season on 3rd down and 12. Aikman throws, caught by Anthony Miller, but stopped short of the first down. Chris Dishman, the longtime Oiler, picked up as a free agent to play the other side with Darrell Green, and to give them a pair of great corners, saves a first down.
Wonderful work by Dishman. He's locked up on the wide receiver to the outside, sees the pass completed underneath, comes off his guy and makes the play.
Toby going to punt.
You can argue long and hard as to which team has the best set of corners.
Whoever has the best pass rush.
Almost blocked. Fair catch called for, but Mitchell lets it bounce, and it takes a very lucky Dallas hop and skip all the way down to the 17-yard line. Chris Thomas almost blocked it. Meanwhile, the quarter ends with the score: Washington 7, Dallas 3, and Monday Night Football returns after this message and a word from our ABC station. Just outside the nation's capital, that's where we are. As you look at the White House, the aerial photography is being provided tonight by Goodyear. We're about 5 miles from old RFK Stadium. There's the Washington Monument coming into view, and back we come to Jack Kent Cooke Stadium as Stephen Davis picks up 2. Now, with Allen gone tonight, the funny thing is, if Mark Logan had been able to play, he was a game-time decision at fullback. They would have sat Davis down, and it would have been Logan and Bowie as 2 fullbacks, and they really would have been in trouble. But when Logan couldn't play, and you see Allen right there who's finished for the night, they were able to activate Davis.
I think we'll see a lot of Brian Mitchell tonight offensively. He's a good running back. You mentioned earlier, Al, he's very versatile. He can run the football. He can catch the football out of the backfield. He could be a big plus.
Swing toward Davis is batted in the air and knocked down by Antonio Anderson, the Syracuse rookie.
We talked about his height. He's 6'6". 4th-round draft pick, but they got some pretty bad information coming out of Syracuse on him. He can be a player.
The first quarter numbers coming at you here. You see both clubs moved it effectively through the air, especially both teams with big plays passing the ball. Only 18 yards rushing for the Skins, though, in 6 tries. 3 yards a whack isn't good enough.
3rd and 8 for Rott. Throws too high. Double coverage as the intended receiver was Alvin Harper, trying to split the defense with Sanders and Stoutmeyer back there. So it's 4th down. 3 and out for the Skins.
And I think we saw that Norv Turner, who calls the plays, as we've said, somewhat limited without his hammer, without Terry Allen. going to the air. You're up 7-3. That's a perfect opportunity to start banging it out. And this will be interesting to follow for the balance of this game.
He's also told his quarterback, when you're throwing in the area of 21, don't worry about throwing it away.
That search a kick. Deion Sanders ran one back against Chicago, 83 yards on a punt a couple of weeks back. Deion, always electric, across the 50 to the 46-yard line, saluted by special teams coach Joe Avezzano. And so the Cowboys have it in skin territory early in the second quarter with Washington up by 4. News presented by Budweiser. The Browns announced the receipt of more than 52,000 season ticket applications, including 10,000 in a new dog pound for the new stadium in Cleveland in '99. They're hopeful of getting an expansion franchise. Danny Werfel gets the start for Mike Ditka's Saints on Sunday against the Panthers. Dolphins cut Fred Barnett and Clayton Holmes. And the cornerback, Bobby Taylor of the Eagles, knee ligament damage yesterday, likely to miss several games. That's a big blow for the Eagles. Dallas now from the 46, and Emmitt Smith fights his way to the 39-yard line on a gain of 7 before Stanley Richard, the sheriff, makes the tackle. There is Sherman Williams, and we talked about the fact that we'll see him more and more. He played a lot last week, but so far tonight, it's been E. Smith.
Well, if you're E. Smith, you want to be in there because Washington, Dan touched on it earlier, giving up an average of 154 yards a game. Philadelphia and Ricky Waters over 200 yards in their last outing, and a running back like Emmitt Smith does not want to leave this action.
Second down and 3 from the 39. Aikman, ton of time, going deep and too deep. Michael Irvin covered well on the play by Jesse Campbell, the ex-New York Giant.
And that's just a good read by Campbell. He didn't put himself in a position where he had to play catch-up. He played Michael Irvin running that route all the way. He had deep outside, and at no time did he let himself fall behind Michael Irvin.
Well, what kind of defense? What kind of a defense gets your strong safety locked up with Michael Irvin? The next time, Michael Irvin will blow him away, I promise you.
Well, it's going to be hard to blow him away when Campbell gave that much of the field. They didn't get shoulder to shoulder until about the 2-yard line.
Third down and 3. They blitz from the outside, and Aikman under pressure has to throw quickly, and Bjornsson can't make the play, the intended receiver, so it's 4th down.
That pass protection for Aikman, certainly not what it's been in past years, the past few years. Wait for me, Bill.
Well, the big thing, it's a blitz. That means there has to be a blitz adjustment. And how many times over the years when there was a blitz adjustment, Troy Aikman found a guy named Jay Novacek for a first down. That part of the Cowboy offense is gone, and it has not been replaced.
Boy, do they miss him. And Goen
is gone.
Is gone. Going, gone. A nice gross, but not a very good net. Back it comes to the 20. And Barry is angry. Cook, the son of the late Jack Kent Cook, who built this stadium with his own funds, $180 million, and then the state of Maryland contributed $70 million for the infrastructure and roads. And Jerry Jones, across the way, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, looking on as his team trails by 4 early in the second quarter. Washington starts from the 20. Stephen Davis tackled by Sanders. Davis came into national prominence. You all remember the clip that they played for about 3 days everywhere. Davis was the guy who was involved in that training camp fight. Michael Westbrook beat him up. It wound up costing Westbrook $50,000, but they've kissed and made up, and everything seems to be copacetic. But that was a much-played videotape.
And that is Michael Westbrook sitting on the Redskin bench, icing his knee.
Yeah.
Another Redskins star not in the game.
Second down and 4, and here is Davis. Out past the 30. Sanders finally bumps him out of bounds, but not until he gets all the way out to the 45-yard line.
Yeah, both teams being able to do what they came in to do, and that is run the football.
Boy, and Deion has contained, and he let him get outside.
Monday Night Football being brought to you by Budweiser. 5 generations of brewing excellence. Chrysler, engineered to be great cars. And Dollar Rent-A-Car with low rates right at the airport. Dollar makes sense. Westbrook now, for the moment, out with a sprained knee, and they're telling us he's out for the game. At the 44-yard line, Henry Ellard is now in at wide receiver, the 37-year-old, and that catch is made by the fullback Larry Bowie. And so the Redskins, the rest of the night, with a very short deck. No Allen and no Westbrook.
Of course, Ellard comes in as the Redskins' leading receiver of the past 3 years. He is now in his 15th season. And, of course, has a remarkable career records, over 13,000 yards. But he has 8 receptions. He was the odd third receiver for the Redskins up until tonight.
Well, he's 5th all-time in number of receptions. He's 3rd in yards.
And the oldest active receiver in the league, Stephen Davis, cradles it and takes it across the 50 into Dallas territory, where it'll be 3rd down and a long 3.
Well, we mentioned at the top of the show about how the Redskins have a lot of confidence when it comes to playing the Cowboys, having won 3 out of 4. That confidence is going to be tested now with the loss of Westbrook and Terry Allen. Those are the kind of things that a young team has a hard time overcoming. A great test for Turner's Redskins.
Henry Ellard approaching his 37th birthday, actually. In the advanced stages of 36, 3rd down and 3. And that is caught by Jamie Asher, the tight end. And the Cowboys stop him close to a 1st down. Forward progress. The ball came loose, but it was down by contact.
He had the first, Al. There's no question.
Yeah, he gave up a couple yards trying to make something happen, didn't he, Frank?
Well, I think he was in the arms of the defender, though, and they're going to mark it up close to the 45-yard line. Certainly enough for the first. He steps up for the 1st down, hit right there, and that's where they'll mark it. Even though he bounced off the defender, he gets the mark.
Well, it looked like he was across the 45, got knocked back, but the spot this side of it, but just enough for the Washington 1st down.
And a good mark.
Dave Campo, the defensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys, with the Skins now at the Dallas 45, and Farrat with a fake handoff that didn't fool anybody as Larry Bowie makes the catch. Tony Tolbert came crashing through and almost sacked him.
There's a pass by Farrat.
There's a guy in this stadium, Frank, named Sonny Jurgensen, who'd be pretty proud of that sidearm throw by Farrat.
Watch this. Tony Tolbert, the leading pass rusher for the Cowboys, is right in his face, and he just whips that sidearm and gets the ball in there.
Sonny wrote the book on how to whip that thing slingshot sidearm like that. That's beautiful work by Farrat.
2nd and 8. Going deep down the middle and 2 deep, intended for Leslie Shepard, who was covered by Kevin Smith.
Well, you had him for a moment, but Kevin Smith really made up a lot of distance on Shepard. Kevin Smith with help back there from Darren Woodson. Woodson playing on that damaged knee from Friday. They didn't expect he would be here tonight. There's the double coverage. Woodson on the inside. Kevin Smith looking for help. And Darren is not even trying to stay with him. And Kevin Smith made up a lot of space, and Farrat had to throw it away.
Remember, that's a guy who missed all of 95 with a blown Achilles. He is all the way back.
3rd and 8 from the 43, and Farrat throws, and the catch is made by Mitchell, who breaks out of a Marion tackle, and then Stoutmeyer downs him at the 24 and a 1st down.
Well, we said earlier that this guy brought a lot to the offense and versatility. He can run the football. He's a terrific receiver. You can put him out on a slot. You can do anything with Brian Mitchell. He's really a weapon. He led the NFL in combined yards for the last 3 seasons. Of course, a great return man, but that is great concentration, holding on to the football when you know that number 31, Brock Marion, hits like a linebacker. You still concentrate on it. Marion bounces off. He gets the 1st down and more.
Brian Mitchell combined yards is rushing, receiving, and returning. And Davis through a huge hole in the middle, down to the 16-yard line, tackled by Woodson.
Boy, this is a fired-up Redskin team playing without Michael Westbrook. They know he's gone, their best receiver, and playing without Terry Allen, the running back. And sometimes this will really lift a football team, Dan. Other times, you'll fall apart. This time, it looks like the Redskins are getting a big lift. Look at that hole.
Well, they go right where Chad Hennings would be at that defensive tackle spot, right where Leon Lett would be at that defensive tackle spot. And that is as big a hole as you'll find between the guards.
2nd and 3, and Davis takes it to the 13-yard line and close to a first down on his 8th carry. Hervin McCormick makes the tackle. Norv Turner was the offensive coordinator of the Cowboys in 91, 92, and 93, and that means he has 2 Super Bowl rings.
So many relationships. Ernie Zampese recommended Norv Turner to the Cowboys, and then when Norv Turner, there's Ernie, they were together with the Rams. He recommended Norv Turner, and when Norv came up here to be the head coach, well, that's when Dallas brought in Ernie Zampese. They're very close and have remained great friends.
And it is a first down.
Well, it's a new stadium. It's not RFK, but this is vintage Redskins football. It's the new version of the Hogs slamming away at the Dallas Cowboys.
Not quite the counter tray, but no, similar results, but effective.
Some Hogs playing hurt too, Dan. There's some guys out there that weren't with them last week, or they have been limping around all week long, and they're playing well.
Almost everybody on that line's playing out of position except Simmons and Ulinik.
Fake to Davis, half roll, caught in the end zone, touchdown, James Jenkins.
The unlikely one.
So unlikely, that is his first catch of the season.
He's 1 for 1.
But a great call by Norv Turner. Got a linebacker trying to cover him. And give Perrott a lot of credit. He had a defender right in his face. Perrott is rapidly developing into a fine quarterback.
Every football coach always tells his team, when somebody goes down, somebody unexpected has to step up and make plays. That time Dallas neglected to cover James Jenkins. He had an opportunity. He made a play.
That grim look by Barry Switzer tells it all.
Bland for the point after. Jenkins has played 78 National Football League games. That's his longest pass reception ever. 13 yards. First catch of the season. Place going a while as Washington leads by 11. Back at Jack Kent Cooke Stadium, 14-3 Washington as Scott Blanton sends it down in the direction of Herschel Walker. And Herschel brings it back to the 26. Beautiful facility here, largest outdoor stadium in the National Football League. And of course, the irony is, the tragic irony is that Jack Kent Cooke didn't live long enough to see his dream come to fruition. But his son is here, of course, as the owner of the team right now. A fabulous facility.
And on each shoulder pad of the Washington Redskins is the name Jack Kent Cooke.
And you really have to admire the financial commitment that the Cooke family made to building this stadium. Again, they did not go with their hands out saying, please build this for us. Let's try to do as much of this as we can by ourselves. Commendable.
From the 26-yard line, Emmitt Smith to the outside, picks up 3. With a little less than 7 minutes to play in the first half.
Important right now for Dallas to get something happening here. They're at 14-3. A Redskin team is really fired up. They've lost their best running back. They've lost their best outside receiver, and that has really stoked this Redskins team. It's important for Dallas to get something happening right now.
From the 29-yard line. Smith again. A tough 2. Tackled at the 31-yard line. It will be 3rd down and 5.
Well, they missed Chris Mims in the middle last week. He didn't play in their game against the Eagles because of an abdominal strain, and he brings a lot of beef to the middle to play the run. And Mims coming to the Redskins sideline now. They'll rest him on passing situations, but at 290 pounds, with the absence of Sean Gilbert, he's a real anchor inside along with Boutte.
Fishman against Irvin once again.
3rd and 5. Aikman finds the open man. It is Stepfret Williams to the 39 and a Dallas first down, tackled by Keith Thibodeau.
And another first down pickup for Stepfret Williams, as double coverage on the outside is provided by the Redskins against Irvin and Anthony Miller.
Well, 4 wide receivers set for Dallas, a conventional pass rush by Washington. Only 4 guys as they drop back into coverage, and that is the type of a look that Aikman really likes.
And now Sherman Williams is in the game at tailback number 20. So Smith gets a rest, first down from the 39-yard line. Sherman goes right to work, exploits a hole, has a first down as he takes it to the 50-yard line. He's tackled by Stanley Richard. And let's check in with Lynn Swan. Lynn.
Now, most people would have thought that Darrell Green would be covering Michael Irving, but the Redskins chose a different tactical approach. They're matching speed with speed because Anthony Miller is so much faster. Chris Dishman is having a Pro Bowl caliber season, so they match him up with Irving, who's only a 4'6" guy. So Green can take away the big capabilities of Anthony Miller, the big play capabilities of Anthony Miller, Al.
The game within the game as Dallas has a first down at a 50-yard line. Aikman starts to stumble, but Williams, the third-year back out of Alabama, tackled by Jesse Campbell after he picks up 5.
Well, more on what Lynn said. I talked to Mike Nolan, the defensive coordinator, who I kind of watched grow up. I played with his father, Dick Nolan, but he said that Dishman knows Michael Irvin so well from having the many scrimmages. They play once a year in a preseason game, and he, just like Lynn said, Irvin does not have that great speed. Dishman is great on man-for-man. Green has tremendous speed. Anthony Miller, and those are the matches we're seeing tonight.
2nd and 5. Williams. And he's about a yard shy of the first down. Derek Smith, the outside linebacker, a rookie from Arizona State, drafted in the 3rd round, makes the tackle. The emergence of Smith, and they made him a starter in minicamp, enabled the Redskins to move Marcus Patton inside. Now Williams out and Emmett back in.
And I'd say that Sherman did his job. He got in, provided a little explosiveness, gave Emmett a rest. But on short yardage, 22 has to be in the game.
3rd and 1, and they give it to Smith, and they bottle him up.
Absolutely nothing there at the point of attack. What a job by the Redskins. That is a complete stuff.
Rich Owens at the point of attack.
And then they went over to that left side. Mark Tuinei, Nate Newton have dominated the National Football League for so many years on that left side. And, of course, Ray Donaldson used to be at center. Now at Shiver, a smaller center. And they had Cowboys just shoved right back in Emmitt Smith's face. That is not Emmitt Smith's fault at all.
That's a Ken Harvey in the backfield, Campbell in the backfield. They just completely knocked the Cowboys on their rears.
That's Toby Goen, who booted one into the end zone. This time floats one inside the 10 and stopped at the 1. Great coverage at the 1-yard line by Charlie Williams, standing there to make sure it didn't cross the goal line. Skins in deep, but lead by 11. Turner coaching his 54th game with the Redskins, but this is the first time he has coached on Monday Night Football, and tonight's the Home Depot coaches back most games as an NFL coach before making his first appearance on Monday Night Football. Marv Levy, 101 games. 5 years at Kansas City without an appearance, and then in his 3rd year with Buffalo, as Washington has Stephen Davis taken out to the 3. And now, of course, Marv Levy is a regular on Monday Night Football. We'll see Marv next week when Buffalo travels to Indianapolis.
And Dallas took a timeout, I believe. They're going to try to keep the Skins from getting a first down and hope that they get possession. And a couple of players still down on the ground. I don't know if they're injured or...
Larry Bowie, and
he is hurt.
Well, they're already minus Terry Allen. They had to sit down the backup fullback, Mark Logan, so he hasn't even dressed out tonight. And now their number 1 fullback is in your picture right there and in some distress.
So they're going to be down to only 2 backs. This is approaching a crisis situation. Bowie got up and walked back into the Redskin huddle. He doesn't have to come out of the game because the timeout was not called because of the injury.
Bowie, a free agent a year ago, is injured in his senior year at Georgia. Didn't attract much attention, but really came on last year, and he's coming out of the game. They're going to take a look at him, but he appears to be all right.
Well, they had their heavy formation in with Darrell Ashmore playing tight end. He's a backup offensive tackle, so now they're going to go into a more conventional offensive set. Probably only a single back with Davis.
2:24 left in the opening half. Washington leading 14-3, and Stephen Davis Gets out to the 7-yard line, and the Cowboys will not take a timeout here. They'll let it run down on the 2-minute warning. Cowboys have 2 timeouts left. They try to hold them on 3rd down, and if they can, they'll take a timeout immediately and receive the punt with plenty of time on the clock. 2-minute warning. Washington leading 14-3. Internet drive chart stats live from our game computers. Check it out at abcmnf.com or on America Online. Keyword ABC Sports.
Brian Mitchell has come into the game. Michael Irvin looking concerned on the sidelines as well. The Cowboys should be.
You could almost
Redskin team.
You could almost affix points to this first down. This would be a 3-point first down if they keep the ball away from Dallas.
3rd and 4. Otherwise, Dallas takes a timeout immediately, and they stop him short of the 10-yard line. Pushed back by Shante Carver. And now the Cowboys take a timeout with 1:51 on the clock. They have 1 timeout left, and they'll get the ball back.
Well, you wonder if Brian Mitchell couldn't have made it. Could Terry Allen? Probably.
And we're back on 4th down as Matt Turk gets set to punt, standing in his end zone.
And Dion is waiting for this.
Good deep kick.
Oh, I'll tell you.
Flag is thrown as Sanders looks for some room and gets upended at the 37-yard line. But a flag thrown right in front of Sanders. Patrice Alexander makes the tackle. Charlie Williams was engaged with a Redskin. And it's a hold against Dallas.
During the kick, holding on the receiving team, number 42, 10-yard penalty, first down.
That was Charlie Williams. So Williams made that nice play before on the punt by Goen to stop it at the 1. Now has cost them significant yardage as it moves back to the 27-yard line.
And as wonderful an exchange of field position as the Redskins could have possibly hoped for.
I'll tell you.
Punting from their own end zone.
And Dallas with 1 timeout.
Aikman from the 27. 4-man rush. Pass is caught up at the 30-yard line. That's Eric Bjornsson, who tries to get out of bounds but cannot, so the clock keeps rolling. Marcus Patton makes the tackle. Under a minute and a half to play in the half. Troy without a huddle now on 2nd down and 5.
Speed man is Miller. He's matched up with Darrell Green.
And they give it to Smith, and Emmett runs through the middle. That will move the chains. First down at the 40-yard line. Patton makes the tackle.
And Bishman goes with Irvin. Green goes with the speed.
Aikman has to swing it back the other way, and one-hops it into the arms of Emmitt Smith. 2nd down with 54 ticks left in the half. Barry Switzer trying to figure out any way to get his team into the end zone.
I see that George Hageman is in playing left tackle for Mark Tuanay.
Chris Berman, halftime highlights, and Barry Switzer is our halftime interview tonight, talking about the relationship with Jerry Jones and where he's at in life right now. Where he's at in life tonight is down by 11. 2nd down and 10 in the final minute of the half, and that is caught in traffic by Anthony Miller, but it's a short gain up to the 45-yard line. Dallas conserving its final timeout. 3rd down and 4. Aikman to Smith, but he stops short of the first down. He's tackled by Jamel Williams, so they can't pick up the first down. Nowhere near field goal range, and it's 4th down.
And at some point in time, Dallas needed to go for a chunk. Those were all possession-type passes in that 5 to 6 yard range. Somewhere in this spread here, They needed to go for the big hit, and they never did.
And now on 4th down, they just let the clock run out and try to regroup.
Whoa, baby.
Oof. And the Washington Redskins, minus Terry Allen, Michael Westbrook as well, lead at the half, 14-3. And back we come after this message and a word from the National Football League. Our 16th president. Huge crowds gather every day in Washington and at night as well. And a big crowd here tonight has watched a frustrated Troy Aikman, and the Dallas Cowboys trail by 11, 14-3. Dallas will get the ball. It's Herschel Walker back. Scott Blanton approaches the football. Second half is underway as Walker takes it at the goal line. Not past the 20 to the 29, and if the picture looks a little murky, they shot off some fireworks at halftime, and we still have some smoke and haze over the field. The Redskins on 3rd down doing a brilliant job. They stopped Troy Aikman short of the end zone in the first quarter. Then in the second quarter on 3rd and short, Emmitt Smith got stacked up. And near the end of the first half on this play in which they needed to convert, Emmitt Smith was wrapped up by Jamel Williams. And it's been a night of offensive frustration for the Dallas Cowboys.
Culminated by a very awkward possession at the end of the first half where they never once tried to go deep to get into field goal range.
Emmitt Smith can't go anywhere on that play. 2nd down and 10, and let's take a look at the numbers through the first 30 minutes, the most salient of which are the Redskins with 14 points and the Cowboys with only 3.
Cowboys have rushed the ball for 77 yards, but that was mostly in the first quarter. The Redskins really came on in the second quarter and started to dominate this game.
But only 71 passing yards for the Cowboys. That's a pretty woeful number for 30 minutes of work.
George Hegeman in at left tackle with Mark Tuanay out as we start the second half for Dallas on 2nd and 10. It is almost picked off by Dishman.
And you see the blitz. The blitz by the Redskins right up the middle is partially picked up. And yet Troy Aikman still ends up taking a hit. You know, the guys were attempting to pick up Marcus Patton as he comes up the middle. He still gets the hit on Aikman.
And a near pick by Dishman.
Dishman right in between Michael Irvin and Troy Aikman. No chance at a completion.
3rd down and 10. Bjornsson lines up in the backfield. They keep him in the block. They keep Smith in. It doesn't matter because he gets sacked and he fumbles. Ken Harvey created it, and Washington has it.
And we were talking earlier about last week, the beating that this man took, Troy Aikman, against the Giants. And it's all over again here tonight.
It's a blitz, but it's just a conventional pass rush by the defensive end that gets around the left tackle and makes the play. From the backside, he gets around Hegeman. Ken Harvey gets the hit. And what a huge play for the Redskins.
Hegeman is in there because of the inefficiency of Tuanay on the left side. Redskins offensive line really struggling.
His second game on Monday night for Ken Harvey. His first one was only his second game in the league at Arizona.
1988. Meanwhile, here is Davis picking up 6 inside the 20. Tackled there by Brock Marion.
Kenny Wolf, our producer, telling us that the Cowboys have said Mark Tuanay is out for the game. He's got a sprained knee. So Hegeman will be there for the rest of the game. And Ken Harvey, one of the great speed rushers around the corner, gives the Redskins great field position with that hit on Aikman and the fumble.
2nd down and 4 from the 19-yard line. And this is Davis taking it to the 15 with Terry Allen out. Davis doing the job. Fred Strickland makes the stop. Stephen Davis, second year back out of Auburn.
Redskins coming into tonight 24th in the league rushing the football, and they have dominated with the running game tonight. And I mentioned Terry Allen out. If you weren't with us earlier, Michael Westbrook, their big wide receiver, also out for the night with a sprained knee. So they are hurting physically, but they have really picked it up emotionally.
1st down 10 from the 15-yard line. Davis swings to the outside. Takes it inside the 10 where he's tackled by Brock Marion. Early third quarter, that fumble created by Ken Harvey. Harvey last year with 9 sacks. That was his first. He gets credit for a sack on that play. His first sack of the season.
Went to his 3rd straight Pro Bowl last year for the Skins.
And the offense tries to make it pay off. Davis again to the 6-yard line, a little short of the first down, tackled by Strickland. It'll be 3rd and 1.
Again, just hammering away at the middle of the Cowboy defensive line. There's nothing fancy about this.
And just good, hard running. There is the opening, but Davis, who has really picked up with Terry Allen on the bench. 4th-round pick of a year ago. Hasn't played that much. Allen having the big year last year.
3rd down and 1. Davis again, the workhorse. And with that lunge, has the first down. Tony Casillas the first to stop him, but he's inside the 5, and it'll be 1st down and goal.
Well, Tony Casillas got in, got an arm on Davis, but that was not enough. Casillas, a 12-year guy. Again, Leon Lett is gone. Chad Henning is not playing because of injury. This is a rather depleted interior of the Cowboy defensive line, and the Redskins are exploiting them.
From the 4-yard line, Davis, touchdown. That looked like Dallas's old running game.
Washington has totally taken over this game.
That looked like John Riggins behind Joe Jacoby, Russ Grimm, Jeff Bostic, and everybody else. Look at that. Dexter Coakley over-pursues the play, but the damage was done. Great blocking at the point of attack.
Redskins forcing the fumble and then just shoving it right down the throat of the Dallas Cowboys.
25 yards in 6 plays. Blanton converts. It was all Davis. 6 plays, 6 carries. Davis with the touchdown, and the Skins are up by 18. Chad Hennings hurt on the left. Tony Casillas on the right going over things as Herschel Walker takes a knee in the end zone. And the Cowboys, in a critical early season game, find themselves in fairly desperate shape, down 21-3. Unable to stop the Redskins' running game and really unable to mount one of their own. And they start now from the 20-yard line.
I don't know. They're not able to run the game. They really run the ball tonight, but they're not able to protect their quarterback, Troy Aikman. He has really been hammered.
Catch made by LaFleur. The number 1 draft choice, the tight end, gets 13 to the 33. Here's a word from Lynn Swan. Lynn.
Al, I talked to Barry Switzer, and I asked him about the frustration level of his football team, and he clearly showed in his face, and he said, yes, we are frustrated, and he talked about the touchdown that LaFleur cost him on the penalty. He said, we have to score in the second half anyway, anyhow. 2 other keys to this ball game. One of the keys to get Gus Frerotte out of his rhythm. He says, we've got to make things happen in a hurry, Al.
All right, thank you, Lynn. And, of course, the half begins with a fumble, and then Washington catches in. Now Dallas tries to begin a comeback, and the catch is made by the other tight end, Bjornsson. So they go to LaFleur for 1, Bjornsson for the other. That's a gain of 8. Monday Night Football is brought to you by Coors Light, proud partner of the John Wayne Cancer Institute, and their search for a cure. Circuit City answers in every department, low prices all over the store. And The Jackal, a universal release starring Bruce Willis and Richard Gere.
Credit this defensive unit of the Redskins also. They have really held Michael Irvin in check and Anthony Miller, the two wide receivers, and the Cowboys now are going to the two tight ends.
Irvin had the one long reception. That's about it.
Emmett on 2nd and 2 has to cut it back and then angles his way for a first down to the 44-yard line, tackled by Jesse Campbell.
That's some pretty nifty running there on the part of Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin. Pretty well shut down. They're covering him primarily with Chris Dishman. Dishman been glued to him all night long, traveling around with him over the past 3 years of Norv Turner's tenure here as a head coach. They have locked up Darrell Green with Michael Irvin. But with Dishman, they put Dishman on Irvin.
Irvin had one catch on the first drive of the game, good for 42 yards. Emmett swings to the outside and picks up a hard-earned 3. Dishman there first. Derek Smith to finish it off.
Michael Irvin with a very heady play. He had a chance to come back. It would have been very close to a clip, and probably would have been a clip, so he did not give Smith the block. There was a little bit of a brush and just enough to get Smith around the corner.
Second and 9 from the 46. 8:20 to go in the third. Washington leading 21-3. On an out, it's caught by Irvin, and that's a first down. Michael out of bounds at the 43. Chris Dishman with the coverage.
And good coverage. That ball was thrown perfectly by Troy Aikman. Irvin on a comeback gets the first down, but that ball had to be thrown absolutely perfectly. Look how tight he is. Aikman just a little short with him. Dishman will make the play or the interception.
And the Cowboys finally get over 100 yards receiving in this ball game.
On first down, Sherman Williams. With Smith getting a mini rest, picks up 2. Ernie Zampese trying to unlock the right doors.
Trying to take advantage of a Redskin defense again. 29th in the league in their ability to play the run. Of course, they're the best team in the league at playing the pass yardage-wise. Dallas, not yet have they found the answer.
2nd and 8. Aikman, and that's incomplete. He was going to dump it off, and then he threw downfield to the 27-yard line, and Michael Irvin couldn't make the grab. 3rd down and 8.
That ball came right off Michael Irvin's knee as he was driving back for the ball. He was in an awkward position. Aikman underthrew it a little bit. Irvin made the play. The ball came careened right off the knee. Usually sure-handed Irvin making a very difficult, awkward play. Can't handle it.
3rd down and 8. Cowboys have converted only 2 first downs tonight in 8 opportunities. Key one here. Troy hangs in, and then it's knocked down at the 31-yard line. Jesse Campbell got an arm in front of Anthony Miller.
Jesse Campbell, the former Giant, that played for Mike Nolan, the defensive coordinator for the past couple of years, up with the Giants. And he became available. Mike Nolan said, we want to get him. Makes a big play right here. You got a safety man making a play on a wide receiver with the speed of Anthony Miller. You've got good things happening.
Now Toby going to punt. Brian Mitchell back at the 10-yard line. Going bounces it at the 2, and it takes a good Cowboy bounce. And down to the 7-yard line by Vincent Smith. Frustration written all over the face and countenance of Aikman. Not so for Rod. His team up by 18.
ABC's NFL Monday Night Football, brought to you by the NASDAQ stock market. The NASDAQ Composite Index closed today at 1742.12, up 3.09 points.
Aerials provided tonight by Goodyear, the capital in Washington, D.C., about 5 miles from here. We're in a little town called Raljon, which is surrounded by Landover, Maryland. Jack Kent Cooke Stadium where the Redskins are on top 21-3. They begin this drive from the 7, and Stephen Davis behind a Trey Johnson convoy, and he is a one-man convoy, gets tackled by Deion Sanders. Actually, it was Johnson who took care of Sanders, and Stephen Davis with a move out to the 23.
Deion didn't exactly force the issue. He's standing out there. Here comes Johnson. It's more or less an Olay by Sanders.
Johnson at 326. Yeah. I can understand the Olay.
Deion goes, excuse me, I'll get out of your way.
Where's my cape? That's Davis's 7th straight carry, and here is his 8th, and a flag goes down after a gain of 1 to the 24. Joe Patton holding, we think. It is holding nonetheless against Washington.
When you got an itch, you got an itch.
Holding. Offense number 77. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Trey Johnson. So Johnson was that convoy, and then it's whistled for the... And that's the first penalty of the game against the Redskins.
Playing smart football to this point, which they have to do. With the loss of personnel, they can't afford a lot of mistakes, but in the game of being physical, they are taking it to Dallas. Dallas is no match for the Redskins in the tough guy department up to this point.
From the 13, now they give it to Brian Mitchell, and he cuts it back the other way and gets out to the 19-yard line, and he's tackled there by Godfrey and Strickland. Russ Grimm,
there's
the Hogs.
Yep, and he is one of those, you know, really rare exceptions where a really good football player has become a really good football coach. He tutored under Jim Hannafin with the Redskins. He's now taken over the offensive line all on his own. And Norv Turner says this guy has blossomed into a very good football coach.
More than that, Dan, he says he absolutely loves every aspect of the game. He's there early, stays late.
Art Shell, another one of those guys, a Hall of Famer who's an excellent coach.
All-out blitz on 2nd and 14, but the play was whistled dead. Darren Woodson came in to send Farad to the turf, but Larry Nemmers had whistled the play dead because
I think old Shar might have moved.
The snap. Full start offense 67. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Another penalty on the Redskins. That's their left tackle, Shar Pordanish. And he just kind of sat back on his haunches prior to the snap of the ball.
he was taking a little preview of that blitz. That'll give you a little hitch as you get along. There are the Redskins over the last 3 games, fewer than 3 yards per carry, but tonight almost 5 yards a carry. And when you average 4.8 on the ground, chances are you're going to win the game. 2nd and long as Mitchell loses the football, and it is picked up and run into the end zone by the rookie Dexter Coakley.
Well, if Dallas can't score offensively, somebody on the other side of the ball needs to make a big play, and Coakley did it.
And the smallest linebacker in the field, maybe the smallest linebacker in the league, it probably is Dexter Coakley, the rookie 3rd-round draft pick, makes the play that Barry Switzer was hoping for. Brian Mitchell, ordinarily sure-handed, turns it over.
Is it Kevin Smith that makes the initial hit? Who knocks the ball out? It is Kevin Smith and Darren Woodson. Both guys arrive, put the hit on, and the ball bounces right to Coakley.
In a very quiet stadium. And Dallas will go for 2 with the score 21-9 to try to pull to within 10. So going for 2. And Aikman throws for Irvin, but Irvin is out of the end zone as he hauls it in. Michael contending that he was forced out.
He can contend that all he wants, but Michael Irvin was on his way out, hit or not. That ball thrown just a little bit too wide. I don't think any way Irvin could have come down with this football inbounds.
No way. Well, we have a game again, 21-9, thanks to the fumble and the return by Coakley for the touchdown, and now Mitchell to run it back. Toby going to send it skyward and deep to the 1-yard line. Mitchell tackled at the 23. Nice open field tackle by the ageless wonder, Bill Bates. So far, not a very happy 55th birthday for Jerry Jones, with plenty of time left. The Redskins begin from the 25-yard line, and the workhorse Stephen Davis. If you joined us late, Terry Allen hurt, sprained his knee very early in the game, done for the night. Michael Westbrook, one of their top receivers, done for the night, but the Skins nonetheless looking very good offensively, good enough to lead by 12. And Davis, in 18 carries now, has gained 93 yards. And again, we harken back to what we said earlier. They would have inactivated him tonight had Mark Logan been able to suit up as a second fullback. And he's only in uniform because Logan couldn't make it. That pass is incomplete, intended for Henry Elder.
And that time, Dave Campo, the defensive coordinator of the Cowboys, applied some heat. Came with a good pass rush that time, brought some linebackers, looped them around. You've got to put some pressure on Gus Frerotte. Tony Tolbert in his face, but late. But Gus delivered the ball before Ellard able to come out of his break. Dallas has got to try to make something happen defensively. Their offense isn't doing it.
On 3rd and 8. Corner blitz. Pays off. Omar Stoudemire came in from the edge. He's actually a safety, but lined up on the edge and came through and gets to Frerotte.
Actually, the protection wasn't bad. The coverage on the part of the Dallas secondary was so good that Frerotte had no place to put it. And he took the sack, but he had time considering the blitz.
Well, Stoudemire just
good coverage.
He just beat the block. The back that stayed in, a really inferior job of blocking, trying to protect his quarterback.
Matt Turk to kick. Deion Sanders said before the game, I'm going to run one back for my kids, looking on in Houston tonight.
Deandra and Junior are watching tonight.
See if he's prophetic. Well, he's going to have to handle that on 2 hops. And back he comes to the 34-yard line.
Daddy didn't do it this time.
But Dallas gets it back down by 12. 2:50 left in the 3rd in Washington. Saturday regional coverage of college football. You've got Georgia Tech and Florida State, Michigan State against Northwestern, Texas A&M against Kansas State, and the Huskies of Washington against Arizona. Then Monday night we go to Indianapolis, where the Bills are 3-3, and the Colts look for their first victory of a frustrating year. Buffalo at Indianapolis next Monday. From the 34, Sherman Williams is in the game. That's him with the football, and he's dragged down after a gain of 3 by Chris Dishman. So Emmitt Smith will be the case more and more, according to Barry Switzer, getting a rest. And not looking real thrilled about it either.
Well, they're just not getting much of a push at all on the Redskins. You see an initial surge, but then the blue shirts just seem to stop. The Redskins move the pile back towards the Dallas backfield. And too many times the Dallas runners are having to go parallel to the line of scrimmage.
2nd down and 8. And that's caught. Irvin over the middle, but he is a little short of the first down. The tackle made by Dishman.
What a duel we've had tonight between Dishman and Michael Irvin. They have really gone at it. Dishman has been there, and he's forced Aikman into throwing the ball absolutely perfect.
Michael Irvin just can't help when he makes a break. He just can't help himself from reaching out and shoving the guy across from him.
Flailing away, look at that.
Irvin 3 grabs, 60 yards, 3rd and 1. Big play. Williams has it. Out to the 48. First down, Dallas, with 1.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Here is tonight's Monday Night Football prudential fact. Frank, we bring this up every year. No team that has lost a game to the New York Giants has ever won a Super Bowl at the end of that season. The eventual Super Bowl champions 24-0 against the Giants. What does that mean? Well, last week, Dallas lost to the Giants.
Lots of people are losing to the Giants.
Yeah. Giants are 4-3. We're back from the 48-yard line. Aikman going deep into traffic, and you talk about tremendous coverage, and Troy goes down. Anthony Miller double covered, and Aikman paid the price as well.
Well, I'll tell you, with the exception of the first game of the season against the Steelers, this is how it's been for Aikman. It's just hammered as he releases the football. He has to throw this ball much earlier than he wanted to, and he pays that kind of price for it.
Well, and his receiver, Anthony Miller, is just completely smothered. He's covered front. He's covered from behind. Troy had no choice but to deliver that to a spot where nobody could get to it because Anthony Miller wasn't going to catch anything.
He has 8 touchdown passes for the year, and 4 of them came in that first game.
On 2nd and 10, they give it to Williams. He takes it across the 50 to the 48. It'll be 3rd down and about 6. Stanley Richard makes the tackle.
This on 3rd and long has been the big blitz down for the Redskins. They don't major in the blitz like a lot of teams, and we've seen so much of it this year. It's dominated the National Football League. The blitz, the safety blitz, the zone blitz. But this has been a down that the Redskins would like to come on tonight.
I am a long ways away from getting comfortable or used to watching Emmitt Smith on the Dallas sideline with critical drives taking place like this.
In a baseball cap, 3rd down and 6. And Aikman gets sacked at the 46-yard line by Greg Jones, a rookie from Colorado. And that's the way the 3rd quarter will end.
Well, with 4 wides, Dallas they were just outnumbered. When they came at the blitz, Mike Nolan, a head coach in progress, has a terrific defensive effort going tonight. They are dominating Dallas. Here it comes, right in the face of Aikman.
End of 3, 21-9, Washington. Monday Night Football back after this on our ABC stations. Back to start the 4th quarter. Al Michaels with Frank Gifford, Dan Dierdorf, and Lynn Swan at Jack Kent Cooke Stadium just outside Washington. And the period begins with a Dallas punt. Toby Goen sends it down to the 17. It's fair caught there by Brian Mitchell.
Let's go back and take a look at something that's really symptomatic of Dallas's problems. Not a complicated blitz. Only 5 guys are coming here for the Redskins. Watch Eric Williams, the right tackle. He's going to look outside here to Greg Jones, and he's going to decide, well, I'm not going to block him. I'll go back to the inside. He just lets him go. You got to treat that guy as a defensive end. You have to block him big man on big man. All year long, the Cowboys have been victimized by the blitz. That's about as simple as a blitz gets, and they can't block it.
Now Washington starting deep in its own end. Stephen Davis tackled by Darren Benjamin.
That has to be so frustrating for Troy Aikman and the rest of the Dallas offense. That is not a complicated blitz. It's not like they're coming at you with 8 different guys. You've got a rookie linebacker who lines up at defensive end, and you just give him a free run at your quarterback. Those kind of mistakes just can't happen.
2nd down and 12. A little floater. That's incomplete. So, Dan, I mean, you pointed it out perfectly. It's a simple play. So they're pass blocking a problem, and their run blocking clearly a problem.
And I know that this was the most dominating offensive line in the game of football. It is the reason the Cowboys won those 3 Super Bowls. They dominated the line of scrimmage. They controlled it like no team has done in a long time. It has been a long time since they've dominated the line of scrimmage.
And unfortunately, you hear that Emmitt Smith has lost it. He no longer has it. It isn't the running back so much as it is in the men up front.
I think you're exactly right, Frank.
3rd down and 12 now from the 17. And Perrot's going to launch it. And you've got all kinds of contact, but no flags as Kevin Smith and Alvin Harper.
Well, Harper was way out of bounds. There's no way he could have come back in and caught it. He's an ineligible receiver once he goes out of bounds.
This has been a long time since the Redskins were 3 and out. And the Cowboys should get good field position.
Watch Harper leave the field of play right there. You'll see the referee's hat come flying in. There it is right there. That signifies that the receiver has run out of bounds. Well, they got a big play defensively. Maybe Dion can give them one on special teams.
Matt Turk to punt. Well, that's a good-looking punt. 50 yards on the fly and a few more on the bounce.
Dion must have lost that somewhere. I don't know a reason he shouldn't have been able to fair catch the ball, saved a few yards. He just moved away from it.
57-yard boot to the 27-yard line. In the game. And Troy Aikman begins this drive by throwing complete to Anthony Miller up at the 36-yard line, tackled by Darrell Green, a gain of 9.
And those have been the lockups all night. Darrell Green with Anthony Miller and Chris Dishman with Michael Irvin. And considering the two receivers, these two cornerbacks have done a superb job tonight. The match in speed. In the case of Darrell Green against Anthony Miller, and just good coverage with Dishman and Irvin.
2nd and 1. They give it to Smith, and Emmett has enough room, I believe, to pick up the first down as he crosses the 37. Jamal Dustin on the stop.
Dishman plays cornerback like Irvin plays wide receiver. He likes to shove. He likes to push. He's very, very physical. And he's done a good job tonight. Irvin's caught a few, but he's been right there, and he's not caught anything big.
From the 37-yard line, no play. Larry Never is blowing the whistle.
Prior to the snap, false start, 88 offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Michael Irvin is the wide receiver to the top of the field. And watch him flinch right there. Dishman gave him a little stutter start. And that's something that goes way back to the beginning of the game. The one guy who should never be offsides is the wide receiver.
He should be looking into the ball, but Dishman was right in his face, so he's looking at Dishman.
1st and 15. Aikman. Troy doesn't do that very often, but makes it work here to the Cowboys' benefit to the 44.
Well, it did work for Aikman, but again, it was great coverage on the part of Dishman on Irvin. Aikman looking to go to Irvin, and Dishman was all over him. Took Irvin right out of the play. Let's take a look at it. This is how it's been going all night long. Very physical. There's the bump, and he stays right with him. He knows he's going to go inside. Had a little bit of the jersey. He's playing it just like Irvin plays.
On 2nd and 5, the blitz is picked up. Aikman lost it deep, and Michael Irvin was the intended receiver, but he was on the chalk.
Who was that covering Irvin?
He has done a great job against Irvin tonight.
And the mind games continue between these two.
Dishman even covers him going back to the huddle.
Dishman, look at it, has his left arm. Irvin getting a little bit of his own medicine tonight.
That's right. Michael started it by putting his left arm back there and shoving Dishman.
This has been fun to watch.
If you're going to give it to me, I'll take it.
Very big play here. 3rd down 5, 11 and a half to go in the 4th, and so big, in fact, Dallas took too much time, and they have to spend a timeout. A big 3rd and 5 when we come back. Well, the Cowboys taking a timeout and a critical 3rd down and 5 coming up here at the 43-yard line. Again, first place at stake, NFC East. Winner goes to 4-2, loser 3-3, and would trail the Giants, in fact. Cowboys down by 12, 3rd and 5 from the 43-yard line. Emmitt Smith, the sole back in the set. 4 wide receivers. Aikman over the middle. It's caught by Stephen Williams. Cuts it back First down, 38-yard line. Big play, stopped by Darrell Pound.
And that's the third first down they have picked up by going to Stepford Williams. But the coverage concentrated on Irvin and Anthony Miller. Williams comes up with another big first down.
Or where he does a nifty little move across the middle. He fakes like he's going to break to the outside. That was really a nicely run pattern by Williams. And then after the catch, he gets a little help from Billy Davis. A nice block downfield. As good a looking a play as Dallas has had in a while.
39-yard line. Aikman rolling, throwing on the run, and dropped at the 26-yard line. Michael Irvin.
Oh, I think Dishman might have been there. Maybe even hit the elbow. He might have forced that drop. This is a war going on between these two. Irvin with a drive downfield as if he was going to run a fly pattern and then came right back. Bootleg play by Aikman. They continue to try to go to Irvin, and Dishman's doing an outstanding job. He gets back in. Does he get a hand on it? No, he just doesn't handle it. Irvin should have had it.
Michael's got to catch those balls.
It's distracting to have that man all over you.
2nd and 10. Flips it out to Emmitt Smith. Emmitt with a first down the sideline, inside the 20. Emmitt to the 15-yard line.
And Dallas fighting back. And is Zampese with the call.
Well, they catch the Redskins in man coverage, and everybody gets run off to that side of the field. And that really allows a big play when you get it out to the running back.
And Dishman is shaken up. Dishman looking for a moment an injury timeout, but he stays in.
And he won't get any mercy.
He was shaken. He's still in the game. They'll keep it on the ground with Emmitt Smith, who can only thread his way for a couple to the 13, 2nd down and 8.
Dishman was shaken up. He was looking for a timeout or somebody to come in. He realized they couldn't get him a man in. And I think they're going to have to take a timeout.
Here are the Cowboys numbers, and there is a timeout in the red zone.
Well, one of the Redskins is down on the field.
And this year, Dallas 6 for 23, next to last in the NFL in the red zone. Only San Diego is worse. Chargers are 2 for 17, but quite in contrast to 94 and 95, obviously. And in 92 and 93, they won the Super Bowl, so they were very proficient as well, obviously, then. Mark Boutte is the injured Redskin.
Boy, that would be another defensive lineman where they are really hurting.
Almost looks like he's having some type of a cramp or a muscle spasm the way they're stretching him out on the field.
Up front, remember the Skins, and we talked about it earlier, they're missing their franchise player, Sean Gilbert. They put the franchise tag on him, the defensive tackle. Looks like he's on his way to sitting out the entire season, and don't be surprised if the Redskins put the franchise tag on him again next year.
Boutte, one of the guys that a little over 300 pounds, really gives them a load in the middle. A very good run player. Got a sack and an interception on the year so far, and his loss is a sizable one for the Redskins, especially at this point on the field where you know Dallas might be inclined to try to hammer the ball a little bit.
Well, Gaines playing with a bad knee, a defensive lineman in the inside. Lang is out with an ear infection for probably a couple of more weeks. They're really hurting on that defensive line.
Ryan Keel comes in to replace him. Down by 12, a field goal does not help you a heck of a lot. You're still going to need 2 scores. 2nd down and 9 from the 14-yard line. Aikman to the end zone, and is caught by Michael Irvin. Touchdown, Dallas.
And in that coverage, it was Jesse Campbell trying to run with Michael Irvin. Couldn't do it.
Well, it was a nice call by Ernie Zampese, because you get Aikman out of the pocket. You roll him out to the right. He's got Darrell Johnston in front of him short. It's a double option. He's got Johnston short. He's got Irvin coming across the end zone. If you get him outside, give him a look at the field. He's got 2 choices.
He chooses the guy in the end zone because he's open. Michael Irvin with his 4th touchdown catch of the season. Richie Cunningham for the extra point. So Dallas finally converts in the red zone. Irvin takes it in. Set up for another great finish. 9:40 left in regulation. It's Washington by 5. Sunday, begin your day on ESPN NFL Countdown at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and wrap it up with NFL Prime Time. A complete review of all the action on ESPN Sunday as Goen kicks off to the 4-yard line. Brian Mitchell will run it back for Washington out to the 22-yard line. He's tackled there by Darryl Hardy. So the Skins and Perrott take over with 9.5 to go in the 4th. Well, there's a familiar face. If you're wondering where Jeff Hostetler is these days, he's the backup to Gus Frerotte right here, the longtime Giant and Raider, the man who helped guide the Giants to their Super Bowl championship in 1990, taking over for an injured Phil Simms at the end of the year. Washington has it at the 22-yard line. Up by 5. Frerotte. Good protection, but the coverage is good too, and there's a flag down.
That has to be a hold.
Yep. You get that much protection. Woodson is shaken. Oh, tripping against Washington.
But in the interior line, it's have the same effect.
Tripping. Offense, number 68. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Joe Patton.
Joe Patton is the left guard. There he is on the right side of your screen, and that's called a leg whip, folks. The penalty is tripping, but in offensive line terms, that's called a leg whip.
When it hurts,
it sure does.
First down and 20. Frerotte to Stephen Davis. Up to the 15-yard line. Stopped by Strickland. Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Miller Lite, who reminds you that anything can happen at Miller time. Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? Southwest Airlines, with fares so low, you have the freedom to fly. And Pennzoil, formulated for today's stop-and-go driving. Stop, go, Pennzoil.
Well, on that play, they motored to the football. The Cowboys defense right now sensing that if they can hold the Redskins here, their offense will get good field position, a chance to do something. Well, look at that shot.
Second and 17. Frerotte buys time and throws underneath Bowie, and Bowie gets tackled because Coakley would not let him out of his grasp.
Oh, that is a good tackle by Coakley, the rookie from Appalachian State. Scored a touchdown earlier tonight, made a good play there in the open field.
And that's not much of a gain when you consider that the quarterback held the football for maybe a good 6 seconds. A lot of times that's where somebody breaks open and makes a big, big play. That was outstanding work by the Dallas secondary, blanketing the Redskin receivers.
Third down and 14. Skins from the 18. 8 minutes to go. Three-man rush. Frerotte was going down, tried to hit Shepard underneath, incomplete, and Kirk will come in to punt, and Dallas will get the ball back.
And Dan, again, outstanding coverage. Frerotte had enough time, just good coverage downfield, and he had nowhere to put that ball.
Did somebody step on Frerotte? That looked very awkward the way he went down. He's looking downfield.
His own man.
Yep. There he is right on the left side. Sharp Hordanish, his left tackle, gets right in there and steps on Frerotte. Gus not able to put anything on the throw with his feet going out from under.
Matt Turk took the snap from his brother Dan. Deion Sanders pulls it in at the 33-yard line. And Deion gets spun down at the 38-yard line by Greg Jones, who had that big sack on Aikman before. Nice play here.
Joe Avisano, the special teams coach.
Takes it to heart, doesn't he?
He must have had bigger plans for that return. He's watching Dion. Dion doing the stutter step. I don't think that's what Joe had in mind.
No, I don't think he had the stutter step in mind.
No, I don't think so either.
Cowboys at the 38-yard line. Looking ahead, they have 2 timeouts. They have Sherman Williams in the backfield. From the 38, Aikman scrambling, turns it into a gain up to the 44 before he steps out of bounds. A pickup of close to 7.
Well, mobility isn't the first thing you think of when Troy Aikman comes to mind, but boy, he really showed some there. And Troy, on the move tonight, has turned in some big plays for Dallas. He has been very effective at keeping some drives alive by getting out of the pocket and going upfield.
That's the good news for Dallas. The bad news is he's had to. He's been under enormous pressure.
But he's got it done when he had to.
He has.
He's rushed 3 times for 19 yards. He had 6 rushing yards total this season coming into the game. 2nd down and 4. Aikman throws it out, incomplete, and Bjornsson expresses his frustration by pounding the turf. Covered by Campbell. 3rd and 4.
Frustration because he should have had this ball. Troy with that strong arm, he can throw this deep out. Not a difficult catch.
Looks like Eric, like he mistimed his rising up to catch the football.
Bjornsson, an old wide receiver. He easily should have handled that. He knows it.
You saw Messrs. Jones and Cook. With 7:02 to go, 3rd down and 4 from the 44. Inside handoff to Sherman Williams, and Stanley Richards stops him short of the 1st down.
Big play by Richard. He was looking at Sherman Williams all the way. When they came at the draw, he read him and broke to the outside with him, and a good tackle. Former San Diego Charger, who we watched in the Super Bowl a few years ago. Super Bowl 29.
Brian Mitchell back, Toby going to punt.
Not a bad position on the field to run a fake if you're so inclined.
Fair catch called for. Mitchell at the 13-yard line. That's where Washington will take it with 6 minutes, 13 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter.
Well, the Redskin defense, they did it when they had to do it. Now what they need out of their offense is just a little possession. Even if you don't generate points, give your defense a chance through a couple of 1st downs to get their breath over on the sideline so they can come in and play a last series or 2.
Dan, you've been there. You know that. They've talked about it on the sideline. We know what we've got to do. We've got to go out there and work on the clock, move the football, move the sticks, and we'll have a win.
3 and out by the Redskin offense here. Almost certainly will spell disaster.
Line of scrimmage is the 12. 6:13 left in the 4th. 21-16 Washington. Davis straight ahead, gets 3 to the 15-yard line. North Turner calls the plays himself. He was Dallas's offensive coordinator for 3 years. In fact, he and Troy Aikman established a great friendship that exists very much to this day.
I think they were broadcasting the fact that they were going to run the football again. They had Ashmore, an offensive tackle, and a tight end. Now they bring in their true tight end, Jamie Asher.
On 2nd and 7 for Watt, looking to throw and gets buried. 3 Cowboys came in, led by Randall Godfrey.
Cowboys very judicious with their blitz tonight, but they have timed it out beautifully and put Washington in a tough spot. 3rd and long yardage, and here comes Godfrey all the way around from the outside. Not very big, these outside linebackers for Dallas, but they are very, very quick.
Well, they blitzed 2 linebackers to the same side. Dave Campo there, their coordinator. Happy with that. Stephen Davis only able to pick up 1.
And Gus has to take a timeout. He takes a timeout. It'll be 3rd and 12, and the Redskins in the second half minus 6 yards passing. 4:59 left in regulation. The Redskins holding on by 5. Third down and 12, and look at that. Washington with 133 yards passing in the first half and minus 6 in the second.
Well, they came out with that commanding lead. I think they just thought they could come out and run the football, work on the clock. Dallas was not playing well in the first half. They were able to run the football. In the second half, they have not been able to move the ball at all against a rejuvenated Dallas defense.
Third down and 12. 4:59 left. They have to get to the 22 to convert. Surratt throws out of bounds. It's 4th down, intended for Leslie Shepard.
Oh, and how disappointing that has to be. Only a 3-man rush by Dallas, and yet
good coverage downfield by Dallas.
Well, they got 8 guys back in coverage, Frank.
Yeah, Brock Marion was there. Darren Woodson was there. There's Marion. He's no way you're going to complete this pass. He had perfect position. Marion's having a big night.
And once again,
Darren Woodson playing hurt.
Once again, they're counting on Turk to come up with a huge punt.
Deion Sanders to take this Turk kick. Beauty, 57-yard punt. And Deion gets dragged down at the 50-yard line. And that's where Derek Smith makes the tackle. And Dallas 50 yards away from the lead.
Well, but right now, conditioning and endurance are a real factor for the Redskin defense. They have been on the field a lot here in half number 2, and they'll be tested now.
College football Saturday, there is the regional lineup. Third-ranked Florida State hosting Georgia Tech. Michigan State on the road at Northwestern. Texas A&M at Kansas State. And out west, Washington at Arizona. Next Monday, we're in Indianapolis. The Buffalo Bills, Thurman Thomas and company, against the Indianapolis Colts. Line of scrimmage is the 49. Emmitt Smith is in the game. First down. 4:41 remaining in regulation. Aikman throws. It's caught by Bjornsson. He's tackled by Richard after a gain of about 3.
There was
go ahead, Dan.
A good example of the blitz coming by the Redskins and Dallas picking it up. Giving his quarterback a chance to look downfield and find Bjornsson. And that's not the route Bjornsson was going to run. That's a blitz adjustment.
Exactly. And a good read between Aikman and Bjornsson.
2nd and 6. Cowboys have 2 timeouts left. Troy, a ton of time, throws, threads the needle to Irvin, blanketed by Dishman, but the pass was perfect.
And right now, the Redskin front 4 looks tired. They are not getting a pass rush. They're not getting off the line of scrimmage.
And I'll tell you, Dishman's got to be a little wiped out, too. This has been a very physical game. Look how close Dishman is to the coverage. Perfect pass. Dishman saying to himself, you know, what else can I do? The only thing else I could do is draw a flag.
1st and 10 at the 38. Tip incomplete. Trying to dump it off over the middle. Ryan Keel, we think, is the guy who got his hand on it. Well, the Cowboys involved in some dramatic games this year. Lose to Arizona in overtime, blow the lead. The Monday Night Classic against Philadelphia with the bobbled snap at the end. Last week, the frustrating loss to the Giants at the Meadowlands where they can't get set for what would have been a tying field goal. And now tonight, Michael Irvin, meanwhile, over 10,000 yards receiving. He did that on the touchdown reception. 14th man in history. 2nd and 10, and they give it to Emmitt Smith, who swings to the outside, but gets no blocking. And coming up to bust the play up is Darrell Green.
Well, if you can turn Emmitt Smith and make him go parallel to the line of scrimmage, like most backs, you have taken away 80% of his effectiveness. And Emmitt Smith had nothing at the point of attack.
Bounces outside, and he's going parallel, Frank. He's finished.
And Darrell Green got the other 20%.
Yep, he got
Super tackle. Look at that.
3rd and 11. 2:45 to go. Crowd roaring. And Aikman under pressure from Stanley Richard as Mike Nolan calls a safety blitz and creates a 4th and 11. And Larry Nemmers, the referee, seriously thought about throwing an intentional grounding flag on Aikman.
Well, Patton was all over the screen man. Aikman didn't have a choice. Marcus Patton, the middle linebacker, read the screen. It's going to be Smith. Watch 22. But Marcus Patton is right there, and Aikman says, I'm not going to throw it.
That's intentional grounding, and he got away with it. And now they have to go, of course, on 4th and 11, and Aikman has to burn a timeout, and that's a killer if they don't make this. Because if they don't make it, they would have had 2 timeouts and a 2-minute warning and could still have gotten the ball back. But they were tardy in getting to the line. The play clock was down to about 5, and Troy had to frustratingly take a timeout. And the noise level, when Dallas tries to run this play, will set a record for this stadium.
Well, they won't be thinking about changing it. It's going to be very interesting. The man they have gone to in key 3rd down situations, and now it's a 4th down situation, has been Stepford Williams. That's because of the coverage that they've had on Michael Irvin by Chris Dishman and the coverage on Anthony Miller by Darrell Green. So will it be Williams again? Certainly defensively, Mike Nolan is thinking the same thing, and the game has played out. The strategy by these 2 men, the offensive coordinator and Mike Nolan, the defensive coordinator.
Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones and John Kent Cook. It's 4th down and 11 from the 39-yard line. Aikman goes for it all. Incomplete. Anthony Miller blanketed by future Hall of Famer Darrell Green.
You don't really try to do that to Darrell Green. Too much speed.
Seth Miller actually has the inside on Darrell Green. If the ball's not quite so deep, Frank, it could have been a completion. But Darrell Green certainly all over Anthony Miller, and the Cowboys go for it all and come up short.
And they have 1 timeout remaining.
They had to burn 1, so they have 1 timeout and the 2-minute warning.
Yeah. So without a 1st down, if Washington doesn't get a 1st down, Dallas will get another try. Davis, stay in bounds.
He does at the 43-yard line, forcing Dallas to take a timeout.
Barely.
Tackled by Vincent Smith.
That's the last thing that said when he left the huddle. Keep it in bounds.
Cowboys out of timeouts.
Well, there's been so many little games within the big game here tonight. It's been so much fun to watch. Emmitt Smith playing a lesser role. One that I think that he is taking too much credit for the lack of the offense on the part of the Dallas Cowboys. So many things you read and hear that he's lost it. And the guys up front, they're the ones that are hurting.
Michael Irvin venting over on the Cowboys sideline.
Second down and 7.
Here comes Dion on the corner blitz.
And Strickland makes the tackle at the 40-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down and 10. And this will take us to the 2-minute warning. So if Dallas can stop Washington without getting a 1st down, they will get the ball back with about a minute 10, a minute 15 left, and no timeouts. 2-minute warning. You can check the NFL out at NFL.com online.
Michael Irvin has really exercised over the sidelines. He's looking at some still shots that they've sent down. He claims that he was open. I think that on that pass attempt to Anthony Miller. Let's take a look. Dishman is providing the coverage.
Ooh,
he was being held, number one. And yes, he was open. And that's his reaction. I'm the guy. I'm the go-to guy. And he goes over and picks up a still shot that they send down that indicated that he was open, and he was really carrying on the sidelines.
3rd down and 10, Washington. And Perrott will try to end the game by converting, and the catch is made for a first down by Leslie Shepard.
Well, they only had 4 first downs this entire second half, and number 5 might just have won the football game for them.
Leslie Shepard.
Dallas has done a wonderful job of containing the Redskin offense here in the second half. And that first down was off the charts.
Leslie Shepard, released by Tampa Bay early in his career, then by the Steelers, makes the big catch for the Redskins here in the second half.
And a perfect throw by Gus Frerotte.
He can throw that out.
And now they can run the clock out. And the Dallas Cowboys are going to drop to 3-3. The Washington Redskins are going to go to 4-2. The Skins are in first place alone. The Giants are in second place, having played an extra game. New York is 4-3. Dallas goes home, a tough one against Jacksonville and Irving next Sunday, and then Barry's got to take his team back out on the road at Philadelphia, always tough, and at San Francisco.
And then back home to play Arizona, to whom they've already lost. Then the Redskins again, and then they go to Green Bay. How's that for a tough road?
And meanwhile, Washington, and again, no coach will say it's an easy schedule, but think about the next couple of games here. At Tennessee, Baltimore here, at Chicago, Detroit here. John Ken Cook in the stadium his father built. They are undefeated, are the Skins, in their new home.
And it's safe to say that the current and the recent additions of Norv Turner's Redskins own the Cowboys. That is 4 out of the last 5 games they have beaten the Cowboys.
Norv Turner, in his first appearance as a head coach on football, makes it a memorable one and a winning one as the Redskins knock off the Cowboys 21-16. Back we come for a final word after this.